Minnesota, Stefon Diggs unhappy. Ian Rappaport reported earlier this week that his teammates thought he might not even want to be there anymore. He said in response to that there's truth in all rumors. And now Mike Zimmer isn't saying if he'll play this week against the Giants. There is a lot going on, and we've got a few opinions about it around here. MJD?
All right, everybody, let's welcome in my guy, Steve Smith. Let's get to it. If you were Stefon Diggs, how would you handle this situation?
Well, a lot has unfolded. But I don't really know how I would handle it, just because you don't know what's going on and what conversations are being said. But I can tell you this, he's upset for a reason. Things are going on. I think he's handled it very well from what we've seen on the outside. I talked to a guy who was a free agent under Mike Zimmer, and they signed him. And one of the things he said that Mike Zimmer made very clear, we're here to win. And don't expect a Christmas card from me. So what does that tell me? That tells me in a business like this, you have to really be personable. And if you're telling guys that you're signing to contracts, don't expect a Christmas card, it's very business-like. But in times like this where you need the human element, the relationships to be able to coexist and be able to work out through all this mudslinging that's going on. Well, if you don't have a good track record or build relationships, then when times like this comes, you know what happens? It becomes a dumpster fire. This team is on a skid going downward instead of upward when they acquired Kirk Cousins and all the other acquisitions and draft picks. And this year, Mike Zimmer is really showing us that he had a Minnesota Vikings team at one point that was vying to be a NFC juggernaut, to all of a sudden, all those guys might be getting fired before the end of the season.
Steve, you're right. Anytime you pay a guy that amount of money, there's always expectations. If they don't reach those expectations, you know how the locker room goes. I mean, we're all about winning here. But I have to say this to you. No, you're right. So I got to say this to you. Congratulations, bro. I didn't know this. You didn't tell me this. You're being inducted this Sunday into the Panthers Hall of Honor. You wrote a great article on NFL.com where you say you're the second best Panther ever, which I'm going to have to argue with that off air. But in your mind, you say Sam Mills is the best. Share with us the impact he had on you.
Sam Mills, since I was a rookie when I came to Carolina, he always had his eye on me. And for a linebacker coach to pay attention to a young knucklehead rookie, he always said something to me. He always was putting little nuggets into my ear. And it was remarkable just what he stood for. And then to take it a step further, the day he died, the morning he died is exactly 14 years ago, is the exact same time that my son Boston was born. And so I always have that bond. And one of the cool things is when you're in a family and you're around each other enough, that things start to, one thing dies, one thing rises from the ashes, and I hope my son has an impact on people the same way that Sam Mills has. But more or less, I always will be the second best, is because Sam set the standard. So I'm looking forward to this Sunday. It will be emotional. I may shed a tear or two, but I'll try to keep them composed.
Hey, listen, first of all, congratulations again. Long overdue. Steve, I appreciate you. Everyone go to NFL.com, check out his article. Lindsay, back to you.
Thank you, MJD. Time now for your Week 5 fantasy advice delivered by FedEx.
All right, let's give fantasy owners some break glass in case of wide receiver need. Okay, so Fabs, if you could, give me a guy that you can pick up right now and play if you're in need.
Hey, Keyshawn Johnson. Not that Keyshawn Johnson, the guy that went to Fresno State, plays for the Arizona Cardinals. Great matchup this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Christian Kirk banged up. Damiere Byrd banged up as well.
Yes.
So
way to work, man.
Keyshawn Johnson could be a nice little deep sleeper.
Yeah, I think he's the Cardinals' favorite receiver that they drafted out of those three. So I'm with you on that one. Fab, Cynthia, what about you?
I'm looking on the other side of this matchup at Auden Tate. There are a ton of banged-up Bengals receivers. Auden Tate seems to be the beneficiary of all of those missing pieces. So for me, it's not a great opportunity in general because this offense is a little dicey. But I think if you break glass,
Go get him.
tape behind it.
He's sitting in there.
He's
Yeah,
sitting
like,
in there,
hey,
just
pull
like
me out.
ready
I'm
to
ready to
go.
go.
Cool
Pull
name
him out.
too, Auden. I just think that's an awesome name.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
Graham, what do you got?
I'm taking a look at Geronimo Allison if he is available on the waiver wire in your PPR leagues. Devontae Adams has already been ruled out for this game with the turf toe, and the Packers don't really have much receiver depth outside of Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Allison himself. I'm looking for maybe like 6 to 8 targets and a decent stat line here for this.